Hello guys, this is Vanessa from Third Cultural Wife. It's been a year or two since I made a video on this channel, and as you all know, I took a long break and I was going through immigrations with my husband, and we have finally closed the distance. Yay! Yes, we are so grateful. It took 2.5 years of waiting, of praying, of tears, of wondering what is happening, of uncertainties, but we finally did it, people. Finally closed that distance. I know a lot of people wondered and asked, so why doesn't he just move back to Nigeria? Why do you have to move there? After all, you're already here. It'd be easier for him to move back here, this and that. And here's the truth. He did come before we got married. He came and he stayed with his brother and his brother's wife for about a few months, try to get a job, try to use his experience in the military here to do things back home. It just did not work out. And so he came back here, and things were better for him here. After all, he was born here. He is a citizen, and yes, he has dual citizenship, so he could have stayed in Nigeria and do it, but it didn't work, my people. It did not work. I repeat, it did not work. So yes, he did come. He tried. It didn't work, so it's easier for me to move here, even though it did take 2.5 years to achieve that vision. So we started immigrations in December of 2016. Yes, December of 2016, I believe. And we didn't, and then it was right when the presidency was changing, so policies were changing. Obama was just going out of power and Trump was coming in, so new laws were being implemented, policies were being changed and all that. So the prices went up, the processes got longer, and the whole shenanigans just started. We didn't hear back from them for a while. We had obviously to let us know that our application was received and blah 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 blah. They did tell us the price change, and also told us that they were going to take a break as they to wait to see after the swearing in to see if policies were going to change. So they did that, and then they came back up, and then the thing moved on to the NVC. Was it NVC Center or something of that nature? Which we're so happy because a few months had passed, and everyone said, "Oh, it should take 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months, 6 to 10 months, and you'll hear something." Well, anyways, we did that. It went to the NVC Center, and then it took a while from there. Told us they're doing background checks and all that, and then they told us that everything was going to be put on hold because of the immigration ban, travel ban on some of the countries that were being released, and they didn't know if Nigeria was going to be one of those countries and how that might affect our application for me. So there we were again, back to the praying board, on our knees, praying. I think my name had gone far in all the prayer chains back home and here. His friends and family here were praying really hard for us. Back home, all my family and friends and churches were praying for us. You know, I have had a lot of people dedicate time, energy into praying for my husband and myself, just so we can close the distance and just so that we could finally live together as a couple and not have to keep doing the long distance thing. At some point, I even started to resent the process and wonder, well, why do I have to move? It's so hard. Or why doesn't he try to move again? Maybe it'll be different this time around, you know. Maybe it's not even, maybe God doesn't want me here, you know. Maybe I wasn't meant to travel. Maybe we're just pushing it too much. But at the end of the day, we stay strong, because yes, especially with people whispering in your ear, how are you sure he's being faithful? How are you sure he's not having another woman there? How are you sure things aren't changing? How are you sure it's going to be the same when you move? You know, you guys haven't really been together and so much time is passing. You know, what about your relationship? If the foundation hasn't been laid, you guys don't really even have time to stay together. It's going to be hard. Marriage is hard. And all this was just in my ears. I would cry myself to sleep. I would wake up. My sisters would encourage me. My mom would encourage me. I would speak to him and everything will be better. And the moment we're not talking, I start doubting all over again, because all these people are whispering in my ears, telling me all these things and causing me to doubt and fear. even though I knew he was being true to me, even though I knew he was being faithful and was doing his best, but it was not easy, especially when people are constantly whispering and telling you negative things and draining all of your energy. And then there were those who were jealous. Yes, jealous, because then he would send me money to help out because I was working, but I was making a lot. I was just a very young engineer on site. I was barely even being paid. There were months I would go without being paid, and then we wouldn't even get paid for the months we were missing. They would just give us for that month, you know. So it was hard. It was really, really hard for both of us, especially for him, because he had to come back. He had to give up his job to come back for the marriage. It's for the wedding ceremony, and then stay back for about 2 or 3 months with me, and then come back here. He didn't have his apartment or a job because he had to give that all up to come back home. Nobody's gonna keep a job for you that long. Yes, they might, but they're not gonna pay you. They'd offered and said, well, he wouldn't get paid, but they could hold a position for him. But yeah, anyway, so he came back here, had to move in with friends and stay in their basement, and eventually got a job back, well, a new job, and then he got a place, and then we continued with the immigration process. With the process itself, you have no idea how many times I had to send and resend the same documents over and over again just to prove that they were authentic. My sister, English is hard. But anyways, we had to resend marriage certificates. We had to do the one from the church, the one from the registry, the one from the court. We had to resend the ones with the court with a seal and a stamp from the court saying that yes, they were aware. It was sealed and stamped, original seal, date, number, every single thing. Yes, and that it all had money involved. You had to pay for these things. You had to pay for the court's documents to be stamped. You have to pay for the person sealing it, and then you have to pay for this. And because we were trying to expedite it, we didn't have time to wait the days they would require you to wait to do those things, because we wouldn't get a message from the embassy till maybe a week or so after it had been sent. For some reason, because then we would get in and you had time frame to send it back, and if you don't reply them at a certain time period, you go back to the back of the line or something weird like that. I don't know, but anyways, then you had to pay for this processes to be moved along, for it to be expedited, and it's way more expensive if you want want the documentation to be expedited. And then you had to pay for the actual delivery to the US, because you can't just send a soft copy. No, you had to send a physical hard copy of that document back here. And then blessed UPS, FedEx, and what's the name of the other one, EPS, whatever, are not cheap. Yes, people who have tried to send documents from Nigeria to the US know the struggle, know how expensive it is, and know that it is not cheap. Even if it's transcript, you know what it means to send some flimsy paper. Well, it's not flimsy, it's imported, but yes, it's paper. You could literally beg someone you know who is traveling to bring it over for you, but how many times do you know that someone's going to be traveling during the year that would help you carry that paper and not lose it? And people are not always nice. They don't always want to carry things for you. Even when you ask them, they're like, hey, well, I don't know if I'm going there. I don't know how many things I'm going to have, and then pew, nobody tells you when they're traveling. But anyways, it will cost anything from 10, 11,000 to 20,000 naira just to send those things. And back home, that's a lot of money. It's not cheap to always send. Do you know how many documents I had to send that cost about 10,000 naira or more? And this was minus the immigration process that we're already paying for. And we were blessed that the church my husband attends here, they have this non-profit full of lawyers. It's called James Place, and they help you with the paperwork and stuff, and we didn't have to pay the lawyers themselves. We just had to pay the fees of filing and processing the documents. So that was a blessing, because I've heard how expensive it is to pay actual immigration lawyers to do these things for you. So we are blessed to have that also, but still it took 2.5 years, my people. I did not move here till August of 2018. I arrived here on the 22nd of August. I left on the 21st of August in the night from Abuja, and I arrived here on the 22nd of August. Yes, it took that long, from 2013 December. And I know that people have done this longer. There are people who are still doing it and haven't even been able to close the gap, and I'm not complaining, but I'm just telling you my experience and how hard it was on us. I would choose to believe that it made our marriage stronger, but then I wasn't thinking about it that way, because it was hard. It was not funny, you know. It was not easy, my people. It was not. But anyways, we did it, and God was faithful, you know. And then I moved, and then everybody was, Nessis, you're in America now, you're chilling, you're balling, how is Yankee? Me, 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 me. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, dudes, I'm not chilling, I'm not balling. I literally just moved. I moved in the fall, and it was cold. I came to Wisconsin, and it's really, really, really cold in Wisconsin. And luckily for me, I guess, winter didn't start till after Christmas. It did start snowing, but wasn't still was like in the 40s and 30s and 20s and zeros, and it wasn't so bad. And then because I'm so blessed, we decided to have intermittent weather. Yes, the polar vortex happened the year I moved. Of all years for it to happen, it waited for me to literally be a JJC in another man's country for it to get to minus 60, minus 50, minus 40, minus this and that, for it to be so cold that it made history. Yes, it waited for me to move. I'm from northern Nigeria. It is hot in Nigeria. It is hot in the north. It is desert hot where my parents are from. It does get really cold, as we do have extreme weather back home also, because it's the desert, so we do get desert winds. But you get the point. It was not something I was used to. It was not weather I was accustomed to. My body was not finding it easy to adjust. I was having a lot of adjustment issues for moving here. The food was different, the water was different, the weather, the temperature, the climate, everything was different. There were no similarities between this place and where I was coming from. So my body rebelled. I lost weight. I gained a ton of weight. I had family and friends telling me, oh, it's not good to gain all that weight. You have to watch what you're eating. It's going to affect your fertility and this and that. And I cried to my husband. I'm like, I'm not purposely being a slob and just getting fat because I enjoy being fat and tired. It's because my body is rebelling. I'm trying new things. I'm trying new foods. I'm trying to cook my own foods, trying to watch what I eat, trying to watch what I drink. I'm not going around gobbling up pizzas and burgers and snacks. And I did sign up for the gym, and I went consistently, and I was even gaining more weight from I guess it was muscle weight at that time, but I was discouraged and I stopped going because I would go on the scale and then my weight would go wee, whoop, and I'm like, what is happening? And then I would talk to people from home and like, oh, Sinessa, you look like you're getting fatter. And I'm like, why me? What did I do wrong? From going, I was weighing about 40 to 45 kg, which I know is unhealthy, but for me, that was my standard weight back home. That was less than 110 pounds, I think, or so. I was weighing even less than that at some point, and then I started to gain weight, and I just couldn't quit. And my parents spent all this energy buying me supplements and things to make me grow bigger because I was practically unhealthy, even though I wasn't doing it on purpose. I was just my size. And then when the weight came, it wouldn't quit. So thank you for all those supplements. They're finally working, and now I can't lose the weight. But anyways, that's not the point. So that did happen, and I moved here. I started working in November, and so with the stress of starting a new job, the stress of just moving, the stress of the weather change, the food change, my body was just shutting down. I started to get this horrible migraines. Like, they were so painful. I would take migraine meds, I would take regular headache meds, acetaminophen, Advil, ibuprofen, whatever, just to get it to stop. And I'm someone who, if you know me, I am terrible at taking meds. Like my friend, one of my best friends, Tammy, she knows me. She knows that I'm difficult to get to take meds, but yeah, I started willingly taking meds by myself because of how painful the headaches were. And I've been someone who has never really had migraines, so it was a new experience for me to have all that pain centered here, tension headaches, at the back of my head. But I began to wonder, is something wrong with me? Am I like really sick? And finally got health insurance, went to see the doctor, which I regret because we spent a lot of money and I barely even saw the doctor herself. I saw a nurse practitioner. No offense to the nurse practitioners, but it was kind of disappointing as I had paid for a doctor, and then we got the bill and it was horribly expensive for something that I barely even saw the doctor for. American healthcare system is special. I know back when we complain about the healthcare system, but it's expensive here. Like, don't just get sick when you come here. Are you hearing me? Don't just get sick. Be very healthy. If you have not been praying for your health before, better start now because it is not cheap. Anyways, rant over. So I moved into the apartment my husband was already staying in. We had talked about moving when I arrived, but then his school is closer to here, so it's just easier for us to stay here till he's done. And then I had been considering school also, but my biggest thing was I didn't know what I wanted to study anymore. I knew I had a plan, I had a goal, I knew what I wanted, but going through all this and long distance and everything, it just was called. My priorities changed, my wants, my likes, my interests, they all changed, and now I don't even know what I want to do anymore. And it's not a good feeling to come from knowing exactly what you want to not knowing what you want to do anymore. So I like the square this is making because it's gonna work up faster, but I don't like the holes. They are too big, so we are not making progress. So I'm gonna lose this. This is the second time I'm losing it. That's fine. Just want to make sure, at least even if it's not perfect, to be as close to perfect as possible, to where someone who just looks at it wouldn't be able to tell if there were mistakes in it. So we're working on it. Anyways, hope you're enjoying the story so far. I know it's getting long, but I just want to give you a background because this channel is going to be centered around my experiences moving here, and I don't want you to be wondering, why am I talking about Milwaukee? Why am I talking about Wisconsin? Why am I talking about culture shock? Why am I talking about sounding different and talking with an accent that I don't have? So it also evolves with my job. I talk on the phone and I do intakes over the phone, and I have to try as much as possible to speak with a neutral sounding voice, just because no one asked me to do that work, but my experience talking to people on the phone has not been easy, as everyone complains that, oh, I don't understand what you're saying, you have an accent. And in my mind, I'm just like, well, so do you. You have an accent. Everybody has an accent. Everybody sounds different, you know. But hey, you do start to sound like the people you're with, which is something I've realized moving here. And at first I was like, no, at least it'll take me years to sound different, but it didn't. It took me just a few months. And sometimes I have to mentally adjust the way I speak just to be sure that I'm not forming accents, which doesn't always help because I just revert to it, because I go back to work on Monday and I answer the phone, hello, and all of a sudden we're back to it again. And we're back to having an accent. I know. But it is so surprising, the moment I answer the phone and it's my mom or my dad on the phone, it just switches right back. And I'm busting out house. Or just back to that. Like, it never happened. Like, I was not just sounding like a half-breed British African-American person or half-breed Jamaican or whatever. People have asked me different times where I'm from, where my accent is from, and just because it changes so much, and I end up sounding like everybody. And it's so weird because my colleague just started working, and she's from Jamaica, and I don't know, I feel like sometimes when I talk to her, it does affect the way I sound. I also have a friend who stays in the same apartment building as I am, and she's from Uganda, but she's been staying here way longer than I have, and she still does have her Ugandan accent, but it's also the tinge of the American Wisconsin accent, as she has been here also for way longer, for years actually. So in a way, where you're from, it does affect the way you speak, especially if you have the kind of job you're doing and the people you're around. I have not been around a lot of Nigerians since moving here, so the only person I speak with is my husband, and he didn't really grow up in Nigeria, even though he's Nigerian in a way. He mostly grew up here. Most of his formative education was mostly in American schools or here in the US. So anyways, I will stop the video here because we are up to 20 minutes of me rambling and talking. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed me crocheting and talking to you. And oh guys, this is so soft. You should pick up crocheting and knitting. It is so therapeutic and it helps. And yeah, so hopefully with more videos coming, the stories will get straighter and more direct. I feel like I just touched on every single thing, but this is just to help you to continue with me in this journey of storytelling and crocheting and cooking and decorating and doing DIY and crafts and all these amazing things that I have planned for you guys. So even if you don't remember to do it at the beginning, but if you stay this long, you want to give me a hit of a subscribing thingy. You want to subscribe? Hit that subscribe button. Yes. You want to, where is it? Well, it's supposed to be here somewhere. This is my view, so you can't see it here, but you want to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and share it. And thank you guys for staying with me this long, and I love you guys, and thank you so much. I will try to upload videos weekly or as often as I can, and hopefully you guys will get to enjoy it with me. Thank you guys. Bye. Cheers.